Hey, friend, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to say this: nothing changes unless you decide. And as a tech founder, as you are looking to break in and create opportunities in the federal market, you have to decide. So it's time to stop planning and decide to say, hey, let's go. Welcome to the Executive Innovation Show. I'm your host, your Shevvy, your business development consultant, speaker, facilitator, and soon to be author. So stay tuned on September 27, which is my birthday, that I will be doing a pre-launch, and definitely you can or start ordering your book now. But today we're going to talk about federal readiness and how that equates to federal revenue. So come on in, say hello. And if you're new here, this show is for tech founders and non-tech founders who are listening, who are truly looking to break into the federal market, but they don't have the time, they don't have the team, they don't have the tolerance because they are at capacity. Okay. And what I do, what my company does, is really help you to position your company in the federal landscape for it to be seen and get funded. And we do that through positioning, aligned outreach, and ready partnerships so that you can continue to sustain, build, and grow. So welcome to the Executive Innovation Show. I'm your host. Thank you for joining me, Rochelle, the Slay Queen. Thank you for being here. And as you all come in, please drop in the chat where you're joining from, what you do, because for me, it's all about creating those opportunities. And being in the federal space, it's about creating partnership. It's about creating alignment. And you never know who may be in this chat that you can connect with today or in the future to create an opportunity, because that's what we focus on here in the J3M Consulting Realm. Welcome, Chanela, tuning in from New Jersey. Thank you for joining. And please, y'all, drop what you all do, because it's about collaboration. It's about partnership when it comes to the federal landscape. And I'm streaming right here on YouTube as well, and LinkedIn and Facebook. So come on in, say hello, and let me know that you can hear me very clearly. And also we have Samantha joining in as well too. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, girl. And she is joining in from New Jersey, my home state. Let's go. All right. So we're talking about federal readiness. And why is this topic important for tech founders? And if you're like, Shevvy, I'm not a tech founder, that's okay. What I'm going to share today is going to help you to position your company for federal opportunities, whether in your tech space, health space, construction space, whatever industry that you're in, because the government is always buying all the things. As a 22+ year Air Force veteran, I understand. I've spent years, buying things on the inside, working with contracting officers and contracting SMEs to make sure that we have the resources, the services, and the products to run our operations. I also bring the readiness aspect of making sure that my unit deployment readiness is good to go. We are ready to deploy at any moment's notice. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. And like I said, I'm going to share 3 things when it comes to federal readiness and why you as a tech founder, as a business owner, needs to make sure that you have the federal readiness in place before going after opportunities, because the goal is not to waste time. Okay. So if you're looking to get into the federal market, drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're looking to step into the federal market space and you're looking for guidance and clarity and not wasting your time, resources, and money. Drop a 1 in the chat and let me know. So the first thing that we are going to tap into is like I said, federal readiness equals federal revenue. I'm going to look at my notes. I want to make sure that I'm able to cover things. And also I'm going to share how I was able to use my framework to not only serve my clients, but also serve me as well. And I'm going to show you how you can do the same for your business. So let's talk about readiness. Okay. And drop in the chat when you think of readiness. What does that mean to you as a founder? And maybe someone may think, readiness might be just, okay, I need to be ready. But what does that look like for you as a founder? Drop in the chat and let me know. Readiness is the gatekeeper to opportunities. Keyword gatekeeper. And you may think, well, Shevvy, I got my certification. Great. Congratulations. I have my certifications as well too, but it does not guarantee opportunity. It does leverage your company for other opportunities. Okay. So what is readiness to you? Because we don't want readiness not having that readiness to be your gatekeeper to keep you and your company from receiving opportunities. Rochelle said she is from Maryland. She's a CEO of Slay to Success, and she helps women professionals, especially women veterans, slay to success. Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that, Queen. So reach out to her if you have an organization or you're a woman looking to elevate your brand. Please reach out, because guess what? She's going to help you slay. Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, when it comes to federal readiness, we don't want you not being ready to be the gatekeeper so that you can step into those opportunities. And you may say, like I said, I have the certification. I'm registered. I'm visiting, sam.gov. I have these pieces, but readiness is not just the compliance part of it. And I've mentioned this in previous lives. Like when I think of readiness and I think about my military experience, and that means everyone who is qualified to deploy was ready. That means they were trained. That means the leadership, the team, the execution, all of that. So yes, you want to be in compliance, because even in the military, we have inspector general that will come down and go through our, inspect us to make sure that we were mission ready. Because as a military member, we have to make sure that if something happened tomorrow in the future, that we are trained, equipped, and ready to go deploy at any moment notice. Okay. That meant we need to be ready at all times. Same concept for your business. So readiness is not only compliance, it is your leadership readiness. It is your team readiness. It is your operation readiness. It is your federal readiness, because all of that comes together into it's this nice circle. And I am not saying that you have to have a full team. I am not saying that. What I'm saying is you can have individuals identify to help you lay out your strategic plan to say, hey, my company X, Slay to Success, is federal ready. Okay, so again, do not allow your company not being federal ready to keep opportunities from coming your way. All right, so we have Chanel. She said, I'm from the client management, and she does client management and would love to know how that can work in the government space. Client management, honestly, this could work perfectly in any environment. So as a client management, you are making sure that when it comes to employees, retention, customer satisfaction, that those are being met. And guess what? The government is always looking for how can you improve the quality of services that they deliver to their military customers, for example. So yes, my friend, my sister, you can definitely tap into that space. And also you can support. Don't think of, I have to be going after that prime opportunity. This could be where you can leverage your client management experience, your years of customer service and relationship building, because when it comes to opportunities, you have to build relationships. You have to provide amazing services. And that's what not only the federal government is looking for, you also other companies, big prime contractors that are already working and supporting the government in the sense of customer service, client management, program management, and different things. So you can actually position your company, Chanela, into many different sectors, because guess what? All sectors are looking for client management support. So definitely tap into that. But the biggest thing is make sure that you have that federal readiness on point. And that is what I help clients with. I've done it for myself, and I'm looking forward to supporting other clients to do the same. Samantha said she helped women in male-dominated industries who want to stay and thrive. That's right, because too many women are leaving the workforce. We know that 300,000 plus Black women left the workforce this year. So definitely there is a need, and not just in the commercial space, in the federal market. So we want to make sure that we are positioned by making sure that our federal readiness is on point, and it's not the gatekeeper that is keeping us from these opportunities. Let me make sure I close that out. All right. So for example, I'll share like with my, one client that I had, they were not ready for SBIR opportunities or even submit their first phase 1 SBIR. So because of my knowledge of, my background in the military and my ability to execute and make things happen, we were able to position this tech founder's company so that they were able to have everything that was needed to submit to phase one proposal, things that they have never done before. That is because I was able to position and make sure that they had the SBIR readiness to do what they needed to do. So this is not theory. These are things that we actually do in real life and we execute on. Okay. So definitely make sure readiness is the gatekeeper to your opportunities. And we don't want it to be the gatekeeper. We want to make sure that you keep opportunities flowing through the door. That is the key. All right. And next, so we don't want it to be a gatekeeper. We want it to be a pathway for us. So when it comes to readiness, we want to create a revenue pathway in the federal space, because you're doing that already in the commercial space, but we want to bring that over into the federal market. Okay. So when your company is federal ready, think of the opportunities that you can have. Okay. I'm going to share very quickly. I was reading an article, and this article was published by Department of Energy on August 29th. And this is something that you may not be aware of. And by being federal ready, currently right now, DOE made an announcement that they have $35 million available, okay, of funding to support 42 projects. They have $35 million to support 42 projects when it comes to technology commercialization fund. That means they have these laboratories, around different states, and they are building things. They are innovators in these labs, but they're looking for founders like you who have the solution to help bring those innovative things that they are building in the lab to the commercial market. And DOE is providing $35 million, but also from private sectors and partners, again, partnership, they are contributing over 21 million. So you have a total of $57.5 million that is now available for individuals who are in the grid security, artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence, nuclear energy, and manufacturing. So again, these are opportunities that you can tap into. It may be like, Shevvy, where is this stuff at? These are things that you don't have time to do, but I'm able to do the research. I'm able to identify opportunities. And for me, it's not just here, capture this. No, it's about partnership. It's about execution, because I want to make sure that your company is set up for success. And that starts with the federal readiness. Okay, there's so many opportunities out there. Rochelle said, wow, yes, Queen, there's so many opportunities out here. And it's not about tapping into all the opportunities. It's really defining, okay, where do I want to spread my wings in this little narrow space? Okay, and identifying what agency. And that's what I do to help you position your company for success. All right, so we talked about not having our readiness be our gatekeeper. We also talked about how using that as a revenue path to create opportunities. I just shared the example of, hey, DOE got millions available right now. So if your company falls into that category of what I listed from, AI, grid security, manufacturing, because we know those are big things that are happening in the federal space, and they want us to kind of get ahead of these things. So if you have a solution as a tech founder, or if you are a non-tech founder, create that partnership, because they more than likely need leadership. They more than likely need client management. They more than likely need to motivate and keep their, female employees. So you can still leverage your resources to help these tech founders to meet their goal, support that organization. So it's not just for tech. Find your piece of the pie that you can tap into, even as a non-tech founder. Okay, so let's get the money. All right, so let's move on to readiness shortens your sales pipeline. We don't want to be in this cycle where we're going on for months and years, and we're just like, what is happening? By making sure that you have that readiness piece, it shortens your time frame. And what do I mean by that? One, It positions your company for opportunities. Okay. Because when you are federal ready, that means I can say, hey, I know, this company that is already in position to support you. Like I did with a client. I was connected to a VP of a company that supports DoD at a high level, and they have been doing it for decades. And I was able to position that client with that VP because guess what? That client has a solution for their problem that they're looking to support the federal agency. So, because again, you have to be ready. Okay. Also, you have the position. Also, you have aligned outreach. Again, making sure who are you connected to, who sees you, who sees that you're visible, not only visible online on LinkedIn, but truly visible even offline. Okay. And partnership. I just shared the example of the partnership. So again, those positioning, the outreach, and the partnership, it goes together. It's just a big circle. We want to make sure that you're positioned. We want to make sure that you have aligned outreach. We want to make sure that you have, connected to ready partnership. And when I say ready partnership, I am saying that people, companies that are already in positioned, which again reduce your sales cycle time, because now you are going to be that subcontractor partnership with that big company to help you, to help you scale, because guess what? You have that readiness, your position, and they see you, because the goal is to get you positioned, seen, and what? Funded. Okay. That is the goal. And this is the last quarter, the last month of the fiscal year, and money is still being spent. And I'm telling you from experience, September, we spending. The Air Force, because that was my, I was part of the Air Force, my organization, we were spending. I know the Slay Queen can attest. Her organization was spending. So there's probably still opportunity for you to tap into funds. Yes, it's going to be like, you got to be like, go, go, go. But you have to be willing to do the work, which is going to be key. All right. If you're feeling what I'm sharing, drop a 2 in the chat. If you like this information is resonating with me, Shevvy, I am motivated. I'm inspired. I'm thinking like, wow, look at the opportunities. Drop a 2 in the chat. Let me know that you're still with me, and let me know that you are feeling what I am sharing with you today. Okay. And, what I've shared is really to get you to think and see that it's not about just doing the work. It's about being federal ready. And what I just shared with you are things that I've supported clients with, and also myself. Okay. I was able to help clients get connected to ready partnership that leads to multiple conversation that can lead to multi-millions of dollars, because I'm helping you to position your company. I'm helping you to connect and outreach to the right agency, but also aligned partnership. And for me, how this has shown up, because I was looking at my data here on LinkedIn, and you all know I am here, consistently. I've been showing up, and I'm that person. You've seen me. If you've been following me for a while, you have seen over the last, couple of years that there has been a shift in the things that I do. And I still do leadership. I still do training and development. That's underneath my MAC Leadership Academy. So don't think that is going away, because I am multi-passionate and I have so many skill set that I bring to businesses and organization. So Rochelle said too, yes, thank you for dropping that too. Like, she definitely, this information is definitely resonating with her. If you are on Facebook, thank you for joining. YouTube as well, thank you for joining. And drop any questions that you may have for me in this moment. So for me, what I've noticed looking at my data, because we want to look at the data, because when we look at data, we're able to adjust, we're able to see what is actually working. And for me, I show up here consistently. I go live. I have my newsletter. I connect with ideal clients. And what my data showed me from LinkedIn, that my core audience are CEOs, founders, and presidents and owners, and so forth. So founders, CEO, and owners / president. That's the data provided. It tells me that I am speaking to my core audience, because I want to speak to decision makers. I want to speak to founders who are able to say yes or no. So you have to make sure that you are positioning your company to be in your core audience. And that comes with being visible. Because if you're not visible, you are losing opportunities. How does the federal market even, POCs, do they know about you? Point of contacts know about your company and you. Okay. And for me, just from being here on LinkedIn and offline, again, opportunities are coming from online, offline. I had someone, a founder who was doing amazing work, reach out to me to add me to their first NIH phase 1 proposal. And the person said to me, the reason they reached out to me because of my background. As I said, I bring a lot of skill set knowledge, but not only on paper. Trust me, we get things done. Okay. Delivery is key, but also my leadership, my military background. And because of that and the consistency that they were seeing with me being here on LinkedIn and sharing valuable insight, they were like, we would love to have you to be part of this initiative. And I'm like, yes, because I'm like, I want to partner with founders who are making and doing impactful work, but also creating revenue for their businesses. So I'm so excited for that opportunity. Another opportunity that I have, I'm actually co-leading a in-person leadership development training with a nonprofit organization because of what? Visibility, value, in person, building connection. Because it's not just, hey girl, hey guy, I got this. No, how are you building those relationships? Those are going to be key. And I like to connect. I like to have conversation. I like to, let's go out for lunch. All of this is all of the different strategies that I provide you, guide you in my federal readiness, federal readiness sprint program that I'm going to share a little bit more about later on. Samantha said too, because she is feeling what I'm sharing. Thank you, Samantha, for sharing that. And again, like I said, if there are any questions, let me know. What else? Let me see. Also, another thing that comes with visibility and positioning is you're going to have people in your network who are going to refer people to you. I have people that I'm meeting and they're like, hey, you know what? I know a person who needs your support. And this has happened multiple times. That is because guess what? I am positioned and clear when it comes to helping businesses, tech founders or non-tech founders to be federal ready for those opportunities. So think and imagine if you had someone like me to help you and guide you to position your company to be positioned, to be seen and get funded. How would that impact your company? How would that impact your lifestyle? How would that impact your mental and resilience? Because now you're like, okay, I am positioned and opportunities are actually coming my way and I don't have to go and look 100% for all the opportunities. Like they're actually coming to you. They're connecting to you. And that is what we focus on in the Federal Readiness Sprint program. Okay. So it's really about, again, positioning your business to be positioned, seen, and get funded in a timely phase. Okay. So I know as a business owner, as a tech founder, you like, okay, I have these big dreams. I have a legacy journey that I'm looking to develop. You have your plan, but you feel like, okay, it's a revolving door. The federal market is like, can be chaotic. It's a long process. But I'm telling you, friend, when you are positioned and you do the work, opportunities will come. And I want to stress this part a little bit. Don't just focus on the contract and opportunities with the federal government. I want you to also focus on the partnerships that comes because that person is already connected to the federal market and you are leveraging their experience and where they're at to gain federal opportunities. So think of the whole gamut, not just, okay, I want a contract from the federal. Look at how can you navigate, okay? Because when it comes to positioning, it's not about just being on LinkedIn, okay? It's about positioning in a way that makes decision makers, keyword, decision makers are reaching out to you, okay? They're reaching out to you like founders, okay, who are like, hey, we need to connect with Shevvy. We need to connect with Samantha. We need to connect with Chanela. We need to connect with the Slay Queen because we need her to come in and do X, Y, and Z. I want the same for your company, for them to see you because you're positioned the right way. Okay. That is what we want. And that is why I created the Federal Readiness Sprint Program. Okay. And this program is not to have you in this silo of, okay, we're going to be No, we are executed. We are streamlining, we are optimizing, and we are building and positioning your company for success. So this is a one-on-one experience. So that means you're not going to be in a group. It will be you and I, and we'll lay out your strategic plan. And for 6 weeks, you and I will go deep to make sure that your company is positioned, that you are able to identify the core agencies that you want to connect with and partnerships that you're looking for, and lay out that plan, but also start executing within those 6 weeks. So think about, by the end of 6 weeks, you will have the clarity, my friend, the positioning, okay, the positioning and the readiness, because the goal is to have you federal ready in 6 weeks. Okay, so that opportunities can start coming in, and guess what? You can start building that momentum to secure and create opportunities that leads to contracts, because the goal is to get you funded. So if you're like resonating with this information that I'm sharing, and you're looking for results, momentum, and execution, then I want to invite you, if you are ready, okay? Keyword, if you are ready, because too often CEOs are failing to make decisions. I am working with individuals who are decision makers and who are not taking a long time to decide. And I get it. Everyone makes a decision differently, but I'm that person. When you're ready, yes, you can connect with me, reach out to me, and we can move from there. But if you are ready to start creating momentum, because guess what? Q1 is in a couple weeks, October 1st. And I don't want you to wait another 6 months to say, you know what, let me go ahead and start my federal readiness. You want to start your federal readiness now, before those opportunities drop, my friend. So I need you to really think, if you waited for another 6 months, not having your federal readiness position and ready to go your company, what does that do to your company? How much growth do you miss? How much revenue do you miss? How many opportunities, partnership do you miss because you don't have that federal readiness squared away? All right, Rochelle, the Slay Queen said, yes, it's an holistic approach, 100%. I'm not here to just give you just a piece of it. I'm here to guide you so that you can step into it fully. You got to be ready. Military, we have that, Rochelle did 30 years. I'm about to say 30 plus, girl, my bad. 30 years in the United States Air Force, 22 plus years. So we understand the criticalness, the effectiveness of being mission ready, my friend. So if you're looking for a partner who you can partner with one-on-one to help you become federal ready, then I invite you to send me a DM with the word ready, or you can click the link to book a call. And on this call, I'm going to talk to you. We're going to connect, and I'm going to hear where you're at. And if it's a right fit for you, then we can move forward. Exactly. Spending money. Let's bring the money in our businesses, because we know the federal don't stop spending, because when it comes to the mission still has to be executed. And as a military veteran, I understand the importance of making sure that we are mission ready, that we have the resources, we have the people, and we have the support from other agencies to make sure that we are able to do our job and meet the mission of the United States as a whole. All right, friends. Well, first of all, thank you for joining me. And if you are ready to position your company for the federal market, connect with me, because federal readiness equals federal revenue. We talked about not being ready be the gatekeeper from those opportunities. We want to make sure that our readiness create a pathway, a revenue pathway for opportunities, and making sure that when it comes to readiness, like we shorten that cycle to where we can partner, we can position, we can make sure that we are reaching out to the right agency and create opportunities that I've done for my client and myself. So if you are thinking and you're ready to decide, reach out to me. Let's connect. All right, Rochelle, thank you so much for joining me. Chanela, thank you for joining me from New Jersey. And Samantha, thank you for joining me from New Jersey as well. Rochelle said, great show. Thank you so much, Queen, for being here. Appreciate you all. And as always, thank you for watching on YouTube, Facebook. And if you're watching this later on, #replay, tag a friend, tag a founder who's like, hey, you need to listen to this episode today, because Shevvy was like, letting you know, like, you need to be federal ready, because that is the goal. This is what I'm going to be speaking about as we continue on, because I want to make sure us small businesses are federal ready, because too often we are not. Okay, so thank you again. I am Shevvy, your host of the Executive Innovation Show, helping tech founders to break into the federal market because you guys don't have the time, the tolerance, or the team, time, and tolerance to do so. And we do that through strategic positioning, aligned outreach, and ready partnerships so that you can continue to build and sustain your business, but also your quality of life as well too. Thank you all so much for joining, and have an amazing Wednesday as always. And reach out to me if you have any questions, and see you all next Wednesday. Bye.